Hey guys, and welcome to Sounds Like NYC, the only podcast dedicated to spotlighting New York City talent. I'm David, and this is Daniel. On this episode, shut up. On this episode, we have New York City-based visual artist and emerging poet. She paints across all mediums, focusing on pastels and digital portraits. Currently working on a series called Things and Faces, a series focused on New York's streets. You can find her on Instagram at Rahil the Artist. Please welcome Rahil.
Yay!
What's going on?
Hi everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. And yeah, so I'm working on a new collection of art that's based on New York streets, both Brooklyn and Manhattan.
Oh, wait, because you just released like a new, I guess, art piece like this week, right?
Yeah, that was actually the first one out of that collection, so it's not like the most polished one, but it is of New York's trash.
Oh, so is it kind of like an abstraction of like kind of like your personal interpretation of like New York City trash?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Trash doesn't look this clean.
No, that's true. Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. So are like all the pieces going to be more like abstractions or more kind of like lifelike, others more abstractions, or like what's your mindset going into this series of art pieces?
Well, I actually wanted to take it really naturally, like start with abstractions and start to get more clear as I'm moving forward.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be like, it's not going to be very obvious what it is at first, but then like with a few more digital artworks, it's going to be a little more obvious.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it's not just going to be like just trash in the streets. It's going to be like my interpretation that's not filtered.
Mm-hmm.
Like what is New York? What does it feel like?
Like what is New York, David? I still don't know to this day.
That's a good question. Trash that you... the way I think about it is like New York City is trash, but like
it's my
I'm
trash.
a hoarder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just need to have it.
No, literally, like legitimately, David is like a few steps away from becoming like a hoarder. Like if you would see our office right now.
Yeah, we just got a bigger one too, and it's already like
it's already
messy.
like stuffed to the brim with just like Pokemon cards and like.
I got on the trend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just moved in, right? Because I didn't see anything.
Yeah, exactly. But it's better that he does this than they drink like beer. So
It's better this than drugs. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But speaking of this series of art pieces that you're making, being about your interpretation of New York City, like you just moved there like what, like a month ago?
It's around 2 months. Yeah.
2 months ago, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Why, how, and where did you come from?
Are you still in the honeymoon phase?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
That's quick. Yeah, that's quick.
That was a few days.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, a few days. Speaking like a true New Yorker.
I guess it depends on the neighborhood you're staying at, right?
Yeah. It really does.
Yeah.
Well, I moved from Dubai. I've been living there for a couple of years. I just moved. I've been thinking about moving before the pandemic, but it was not possible when it started. So I had to wait. And then, it was a crazy time to move, but I think I made the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, right now is actually a really interesting time to make a collection like this because every artist has done New York City in trash. But right now, the trash looks a little different, and everything is different. I mean, you see a lot of things in the street that you wouldn't have seen.
Oh, like what?
Well, obviously, like masks.
Oh, okay,
gloves, stuff like that. A lot of things that are related to the pandemic. I mean, it's not supposed to be about the pandemic, but it's supposed to be different. So there's obviously a difference between the trash someone wants to paint right now and the trash that was painted like before.
The evolution of trash.
Yeah.
That's one might say.
The evolution of trash.
Yeah.
Well, you were actually talking to us before we hopped on that you just got a scholarship.
Yeah.
Right. Tell us about that.
Yeah. It's a scholarship that I applied for my university. So I'm an English major, and this is supposed to be focused on poetry. So it's something like a summer project. It's like a grant, actually, that I'm writing poetry, and that's going to be what I'm going to be doing for the summer. as like similar to a summer course for my school. Yeah.
Damn, I wish I got paid to go to school. Well, I guess that's what a scholarship is generally, right?
You could go to school in the summer and they'll pay you, I guess.
Yeah, I want to do something like that. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Because
Going to school in the summer sounds fun to you.
if I'm getting paid, yeah, sure.
How much are you getting? Or would you get paid? Would you
I actually
wanna
did
get
something
paid?
like that last year, where I took like this like course and I got paid like $700, I think.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's good.
Maybe I
none
would've
of that
stayed
money
in
saw
school.
you. I
Maybe I
think.
would have stayed in school.
Yeah, huh?
Maybe I would have stayed in school. and got
Exactly.
paid.
No, like it was something anybody can apply to, and like you could do it this year as well, as long as you're like a New York City resident. But anyway, so like, let's talk about how you developed into an artist in the first place.
But also, like, I don't even know like what the theme of the thing is though.
Yeah, I was going to tell you.
Oh yeah, let's talk about. Oh yeah. Sorry, the poetry, jumping the gun, jumping the shark, jumping the gun shark. Yeah, but like continue.
It's actually related to that art collection I'm making.
Trash.
Yeah.
So it's trash, is what you're saying, David? Damn, that's pretty harsh. Haven't even read it yet.
Yeah, the project's name is actually Trash and Naked Faces.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's like related, but not exactly. They're correlated, so it's not directly related to the art collection. But obviously, I'm drawing from the same sources of inspiration. So they're both based in New York City. They're both like based on the truth of what's going on after the pandemic as the city emerges from COVID-19 virus and everything. But at the same time, it's it's a lot of the same themes, but in a new form. So I'm really focusing on form, meter, and stuff like that to try to make it sound different.
Do you know what that means?
Generally, cause I do music, but meter and poetry and meter and music is a bit different, but overlapping.
What does that mean? I genuinely don't know. I'm asking.
I don't like just like the rhythm, the pacing of like things where like syllables are like placed and the certain delivery, basically the delivery through rhythm of the poetry, David.
Yeah.
Did you not take 10th grade English? We went like all through that back in.
I wasn't the best kid in 10th grade.
Yeah, no, you were. He was the guy that stuck
you
in.
don't gotta always say it to everybody.
I think
what
I do.
did. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't
No,
have to
but-
say my business.
Yeah, you know, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So like, so let's just like go back a few paces and talk about when did you start getting involved in kind of like the art, and what was the moment for you when you decided, yeah, I want to do art as a profession?
Right. I mean, almost every artist has that story that they were a toddler, so I'm not going to tell that one, even though I do have that one. But so my mom was really interested in visual art always, but she never really did it herself. But she always
collected it?
Sorry.
She collected it or what?
Yeah, she was like a collector of art. She always went to museums. She was always obsessed with visual art, especially oil paintings. But I didn't take that path, even though I did visual art. But she was really the one that influenced me. So I started at a really young age, like since I was like 11. I started learning. I was self-taught at first. I went to classes, but I quit. But I could say that with the mediums like watercolors and pastels, I am self-taught because I've never learned that anywhere, really. But I'd say that the real moment that I understood that I wanted to be an artist and I want to like continue, even though it has so many difficulties, was that there's so much you can do. There's like no limit when it comes to creating something, especially art, because you can create so many pictures with it. You can like create so many emotions, and there's so many ways that people could just think about it or look at it. And I like that. I like hearing what people think about a specific artwork, even if it's not mine. But just going to a museum and listening what other people think, that's interesting. That there's always a conversation when there's a painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what conversations do you want to make with your like art pieces? Like, is there like a unifying goal or theme you have towards a certain end with your like art, or like, yeah, what is like do you like even have like a certain mission with your like art?
Yeah, I think that the main thing that I want to do with my work is that I want people to look at things differently. Like Henry Matisse, he was a Fauvist, and he was the one like
A Fauvist?
a Fauvist.
What's
What is
that?
that?
It's an art form that came after Impressionism. That was like so revolutionary because they did not do what the famous Impressionists were doing, like Monet. They were like intermuted colors and like so many things that were like taken in a moment. But the Fauvists, they were, that is a French word which translates to wild beasts. That's
Okay.
why they called them that, because they were like so revolutionary and it was like so controversial for them to do that. They used vibrant colors. But I really like that movement because I think that it made people realize that, yeah, you can see a tree that seems like it's blue. Trees are not blue, but they can be seen blue in a specific angle or lighting. And
Just like how just like how blue can sometimes be seen as purple,
Yeah,
and vice versa,
exactly.
right, David?
yeah.
I'm just getting on his nerves about it's
And I'm
it's
like, exactly.
but yeah, okay, no, I definitely get it. So there is this like, I mean, because I guess that's the thing with art, music, and whatnot. It's always well, not like how can I say? There's always kind of like a reaction to what was established previously.
Yeah.
So so to continue, so with your music, like, is your music sort of like reactionary to kind of like the current?
Yeah, your
oh no,
music.
God, Jesus!
Yeah.
Is your
What's
art
the kind of
or
music
is the
do you
mission?
make?
Is the mission of your art at this point in your life kind of sort of be like
Musical.
counter to kind of like the sort of established
Music.
art world, or like, yeah, please elaborate more on that.
your music.
Sorry for
Actually, no.
David, shut up.
Oh, you don't like it when I get on your nerves, right?
I
But you
don't.
can get on my nerves.
And I think you're clipping the mic, so you might want to tone it down there, buddy.
Oh, you're right.
Thank you very much.
My bad.
Continue.
I think that no, not really, because I'm really moving in different directions. So it's like at the same time, I'm exploring Impressionism. At the same time, I'm trying to understand what Fauvism is. What I'm trying to do is explore what can be done with the medium. Like, I don't know how vivid I could explain this, but for example, there is a specific way that people paint with, for example, watercolors or with pastels. But what I'm trying to do is change that. Like, I want to paint with it differently. I don't want to paint with it the way that everyone is taught to paint with it. And that creates a different image. And when you show it to someone, they might think that, yeah, you're trying to like react to a specific movement. And I appreciate that as well. It's not like I don't want that, but that's not like my main goal. It's the same in poetry, that they usually say that if you want to be a good poet, it's not because you have something to say, it's because you want to do something with language. So language is like the art medium here. Or the art medium is like language. So you can like do something with it differently.
So in, I guess, layman's terms,
No.
so you're saying that like a certain, you're saying that like motives, or not even motives, but I guess, what's it called? Agenda shouldn't supersede art in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and also the medium is the message as well, if you get what
Yeah.
that means.
Yeah, the medium,
Yeah.
and maybe sometimes I see this happen at museums, especially when I go with other artists. They look at a specific painting or something or a sculpture, and they keep thinking how someone did that. Like, how could they do this? I went to a museum one time with one of my friends who's an artist, and he was looking at it was a huge oil and resin painting that was done. Like, resin is very weird. It looks like glass sometimes. And they actually drilled into the painting, and there was like circles, there were layers of colors, and my friend was like, how did they even do this? So they used something differently in the process of making that painting. That was what was keeping us so long at that painting, thinking, how was this painted?
Yeah.
And then we were like, yeah, and it looks like this, it looks like that, the colors are like that. I think that's really interesting right now.
Yeah.
That's something people were like, it's something that you could start working on, like messing up a little bit the mediums, but it'll actually turn into something good.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, because I feel like maybe it is just a creative sort of thing, but getting caught up in the gear, I guess in the gear and everything surrounding creating, that you start to miss out, or just you start to lose focus on just making in the first place, regardless of the tools that you have. That's not to say, because to make something decent, like you do need a certain standard of tools and opportunities, and just decent, just like decent. Decent is whatever decent means to you, David. But I'm trying to be constructive here. Thank you very much.
Well, that's the thing with like art, right?
Yeah.
What is it?
Anyway, so that's the thing, right?
Onto the concrete, whatever.
No, but that's like a general thing, because in like the music world, especially like guitarists are kind of like the laughing stock of the music community generally, because we have like all these options, and like rather than practicing, we just get caught up in exactly, basically. So like lately I've just been I think I'm already in a position where I've learned to kind of like not really care about all the latest gadgets, all the latest things going out, but to focus more on technique and focus more on how I can better the way I make music, instead of trying to chase somebody else.
That's exactly true.
Yeah. I mean, I guess now would be kind of a good time to kind of like take, or like make like a slideshow of like a couple of like your pieces for these people that will be watching the podcast on like YouTube. So are there any pieces of yours that you're like really proud of and really want to show off?
There's one that's my most recent one. It's called Earthquake. It's very different. It's a digital art piece. It's done with...
I saw it.
I did it like with my iPad.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Like you've watched Dragon Ball Z,
yes.
right? So do you know the movie with what's his face? Janemba?
The devil.
Yeah, the devil-looking guy. Did you ever watch it?
No.
No, really, because like the background pastel colors reminds me. Yeah, because it was like, I think it was like Goku and Vegeta fighting him in like his version of hell, but it was like super colorful and like super pastel and stuff like that.
Right.
So kind of like the background elements of that art piece remind me of like that whole like fight scene.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, looks really. Yeah, we'll show you after, but like,
Cool.
You get what I mean? Yeah, it's like super freaky, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like another dimension.
Exactly, and that was the point of that. Yeah, it was like his own hell dimension, but yeah, it's like really cool. I really like it. Yeah.
Thank you.
So besides that, what else would you want to show?
I have a few portraits that I like, but one that I want to kind of move away from the traditional pastel portraits. So there's a Barbie. Mm-hmm. It's like it's a digital one. This one is also a digital one, but this is like the first digital portrait that I did. Mm-hmm. It's the one thing that there's a lot of interesting things about it, but I did this on an airplane.
Oh.
Yeah, when I was moving here. So
okay.
It was like a 14-hour flight, and I was like, I could not sleep, so I thought maybe I'd do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and...
Does like everybody from Dubai get like a first class or like business class seat? No?
You have to pay for that.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Oh.
But...
Yeah, you were saying, sorry.
Yeah, so that one's currently one of my favorites, because when I was painting that one thing that you were saying about technique, well, my own technique is that I don't really keep my hand on the canvas or the paper that I'm painting on or drawing on, so I like do it in strokes. And I did the same thing with this one. Even though it's a digital art piece, I did that same technique there. Mm-hmm. So even though it does look a lot different, and there's like transparency, even though there are like a lot of layers of colors on the Barbie portrait, there's still something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's digital. It's very different.
Yeah, got it. Nice. Yeah. So just those two pieces, or
a
third one, just like round things off?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a portrait of an artist that I did. His name is Andrew, and that's a traditional pastel portrait.
Goatee.
Yeah, the goatee. And I really like using unusual colors, even though like they might not seem like they should be there, but I do see them. So exactly what Henry Matisse would do. He would like paint blue trees, and well, that really enraged the Impressionists, but it's not so strange when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hey guys, welcome back to this episode of Sounds Like NYC. We left off at just looking at some of Rahil's artworks, or like some of like her favorite artworks, and like you were saying that
I got some water.
You didn't have to do that, you know that, right? But yeah,
It's
let's
just like messing up your flow sometimes. It's just funny to me.
But let's talk some about how like portraits and stuff like that, because maybe, you know, we as like a society have been kind of like desensitized to just like portraits in general, being like impressed with like portraits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, tell us, like, why do you like portraits so much? Like, what's the appeal of like portraits for you?
Why not just take a picture?
Well, you could mess with the person's face.
True.
I mean, you could do that in Photoshop too.
Yeah.
Not to put you like on the hot seat, but like, yeah, but like.
But this is different. This
Yeah.
is like.
How is it different? Explain to us.
Well, first, I never did portraits like until a year ago. I did landscapes and that kind of stuff. But I like the people that come for portraits. They're interesting people. And you get to know them, you get to like sit down and talk with them, even though they're not supposed to move a lot. But still, it's when someone like commissions a landscape, they just show you a picture and they want it exactly the same.
That's boring.
So why not just take a picture?
I know.
It's different, David.
No, I agree with you on this one. But I just feel like with portraits, people want it to look a little different. They're like expecting something that does look like them. It is them, but it's a little special because it's a little personalized. It's what I see them as. It's not exactly as them.
Yeah, that does make sense because with a picture, like, I mean, 9 times out of 10, like it just like you're taking what you can see kind of like objectively, or what the camera sees as like objectively as possible. But I never thought about it that way, because I always did see portraits, because I guess portraits started out as like photography,
Exactly.
you know, with like, you know, royalty and stuff like that. But I guess over time, you know, cameras developed, so that like essential point of it kind of like went away, and I guess I knew.
Have you ever gotten a portrait done of yourself?
Yeah.
What does it feel like after it happens?
It feels very weird because
How so?
you get a little self-conscious about how you look.
Right.
Because you don't know what you're going to expect, but what you see is always something different than what you think of yourself.
Oh, that's true, right?
So you don't feel regal like a royal would?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
No, not like that. But it's special because you're actually sitting there, and I've done it both live and pictures. But when it's live, it's a lot more interesting because you have to like adjust with the person's movements. It's impossible for someone not to move. They're breathing, they're like blinking. It's impossible for them not to move. But at the same time, you want to create something that's not so like Picasso, because that's not what I'm going for. But one thing that we did talk about was that I put colors in there that aren't like exactly there. That's why I'm doing it, because I can mess around with the colors a little bit, and it'll still be that person. It's not going to change their face or anything, but it's a different expression. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. I understand. Have you ever done kind of like a self-portrait?
Yeah, I have.
How is that? Because I feel like you would want to like lie about yourself, kind of like embellish some features they don't like about yourself.
Exactly.
It's just like natural
It's like
human nature. Yeah, basically photoshopping in real time.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't happy with it the first few times, but that's how I developed my style. Because that's exactly what I did. I tried to like make it look different because I wanted to like the self-portrait. You don't want to put a self-portrait out there that's awful.
Yeah.
And then people like, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I changed my self-portraits a little bit. I went for bigger eyes, wider eyes, like smaller bone structures in specific areas and stuff. That's how you actually learn, because you learn about what you want to see in visual art. And you try to do that a little more. Like, you use the colors you like, you use the technique that you think works. And every painting teaches you something new.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can learn something after doing that many portraits.
Yeah.
You have to it's every drawing or painting is a different story.
And eventually you just end up drawing anime girls. Because that is the eventuality of all arts.
Yeah.
No matter the medium, no matter the process, no matter the artist, everything will end with anime girls. But speaking of which, as we were talking about, kind of how like a piece of your how like a element of your art was like similar to this like background art from like this like Dragon Ball Z movie, like. What do you think about kind of like pop art and anime or video games, like the relationship between art or like pop culture art through the medium of video games and anime and stuff like that, and with like traditional art and more like those two worlds, like how do you process those two worlds?
Yeah, was Warhol a piece of shit?
No. No, I think it's actually, I like that it's coming more into the art world, not just in its own world. I think that one thing that I like about it is that everyone can learn how to do it. Like, there's so many new artists that are painting in that style, but it's so good that even, like, when I think about it, I'm like, I can never do that. But it's just because it has a specific style, so it's easy to jump into. It's not easy, but it's possible. And I actually like pop art a lot because I think I like a little bit commercializing art. It's not that bad. I mean, people think it's such a bad thing, but I don't think it's that bad.
The money.
Yeah. And speaking of, I really adore Andy Warhol. So he's been one of the biggest influential people with the pop art, that the art that I'm making right now that kind of resembles that kind of video game aesthetic. And it definitely does influence my work, because I do like playing video games a little bit, and I like watching it. I like watching other people play. It's interesting. It's like a universe you can control, so it's easy. Like, it's just impossible not to like it.
Yeah.
How do you think you'd be able to combine like your like visual art with like VR?
VR, that would be interesting. You'd have to have so much in your mind planned out, because it's moving. You're moving around. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
That's your next venture. I'll take 20%. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because like I forgot what I wanted to say, but what I was gonna say, yeah, because I've heard in the past that the reason why art teachers, art professors don't generally like people, I guess starting out, trying to do the anime style, is because they try to forego kind of the fundamentals of just drawing human anatomy and stuff like that, which is obviously bad. Even you can't get anywhere really successfully without the fundamentals and stuff like that. But do you think that sort of discrimination or bias against kind of pop art or more anime styles and stuff like that is kind of going away from the traditional art world, or is it just
I think it's good that it's going away from the traditional world, because that's how I learned.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the option to start with the fundamentals, but I went backwards. I actually started with exactly that. I tried copying anime when I was in middle school, and then I realized, I don't know how to do anatomy. I don't know how to draw a body or something. Yeah. And then I think that's actually how you learn, but have a style at the same time.
So learning backwards?
Yeah,
you mean?
that works.
Interesting.
That really works.
Yeah. Yeah, because looking back now, I would rather have like been taught the fundamentals in terms of music and stuff like that, and work my way up. Because I'm definitely backtracking like on a bunch of things when it comes to music and stuff like that I wish I had like really gotten down the first time around. But I guess it depends on the person, and you've already been able to kind of like be as successful as you are based on like your own style. So yeah, I guess it's like really dependent on the person. Yeah. Awesome. I mean, I guess to like end this off, like what are some like some pieces of advice that you would want to give to aspiring artists that are similar to you, that kind of like in between being fully commercialized pop art, but also still trying to game the traditional the traditional art world?
I would say that, first of all, if you're creating something, create it for what you want it to be, not for anything else, not for like money, or I don't know, if you want to like make your portfolio look cool, or just say that I know how to do anatomy, I know how to do anime. No, don't do that. But create something because you want it to be like a special piece. I mean, every painting or artwork that you're creating, you should think of it as like the best one in your portfolio. That's a way to start. And always remember that every painting is like a book. You learn something from everyone. And that's how you move forward, and never stop. Just never stop. Don't stop with painting, because if you stop, then it's impossible to get back quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Great piece of advice.
Awesome.
Very succinct. Zucchini. Yes, very zucchini of you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Sorry about the zucchini situation.
Sorry about my brain aneurysm during a hint. But yeah, I mean, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. It's been great talking with you. Kind of like, it's always interesting talking to artists, because I even feel like more than musicians, they're like varied, and they're more like everybody has.
Are musicians not artists, Daniel?
Anyway, no, it's just always interesting talking to people within the visual medium of art. Is that how you want me to say it, David? How is that better? Okay, because
musicians are artists too, Daniel.
Yeah, whatever. Because it's always just like interesting. Everybody has their own philosophy. I feel even more than musicians sometimes, and everybody. You
feel like their like visual artists are more intentional with like their art?
Not even that, but like once they kind of like, it seems like they're like it's like easier for them to find themselves, to find their niche, find what they're good at, and just to like go at it, monetize it, stuff like that. At least to me, being a musician, because there's always so many genres and stuff like that, and like everybody trying to get on the same Spotify playlist. It could be almost like crabs in a bucket sort of thing. I feel like at times, but I feel like with the art world, with the visual art world, there's a bit more freedom, and there's a bit more, even like a certain higher specialized degree of individuality. I don't know, but like just the musings of a dumbass.
I think you're saying words, to be honest.
I think I'm saying words too. I like saying words. You don't like saying words?
Nah, it's not my favorite thing.
All right, then let's stop saying words right about now.